The way they're built. Now Montgomery, he's going to break. David Montgomery is in for the touchdown. Just a stunning couple of plays back to back. And the Detroit Lions, it appears, are going to walk out of here with their second win of the year.
Well, we come in talking about these young guards, Mahogany and Tate Radledge, and the job that they have done tonight, and really all five of those guys, along with the receivers. Jamison Williams, he's down the field blocking. 225 yards rushing tonight for the Detroit Lions.
Goff.
Well, it's not a great day here in Baltimore after the Ravens lost to the Lions last night on Monday Night Football. And the score is 38-30, but it was really, the Lions blew them out with the running game and everything else. So the Baltimore Ravens are trying to figure out what they're going to do, because guess where they're going? Kansas City.
Yeah. And hey, Chris, it's kind of, and the Kansas City Chiefs have not looked like the Kansas City Chiefs.
No, they haven't. So
it's like that may be an advantage for you guys up there, in the Charm City.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be an advantage for my Chiefs. Hopefully it'll be really good, ready to go.
Yeah.
So in a few minutes, we'll bring in our good friend Jeff Culhane, the voice of the Florida State football team, and Ricky Aguayo will be joining us as well. Florida State rolls into Charlottesville to take on the UVA, the Virginia Cavaliers, and they're not trying to look ahead to the big matchup next weekend in Tallahassee. I call it the Battle of Tallahassee.
It's basically like an ACC championship game, elimination game, if you want to think about it that way.
Exactly. And then Miguel Lozada Jr., who is the co-founder and president of the Puerto Rico Lacrosse team, they're going to be here in Baltimore this weekend for the Atlas Cup. It's a prelim to the Olympics in 2028 in Los Angeles. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, we're going to talk Chiefs Ravens. We're going to recap the Lions Ravens for last night. And also we'll talk Towson football. Towson is they're on the road against Bryant after a tough loss last weekend to Youngstown State. We'll talk to Coach Shinnick about that as well. So it's going to be a great show here tonight. So let's get it going here. Are we number 8?
Yeah, we are.
I thought we were number 7 last night.
And it's our first true road test of the year.
Yes.
And Virginia's bringing back those 1995 uniforms. And when we were up there in 1995, we did this.
Yep.
It's called We Want to Do This
that game in 1995.
Friday night. So without further ado, I think the party's still going on down there in Tallahassee. I can hear. I think I can hear Doak Campbell Stadium still rocking. So
yeah.
Let's bring in the voice of the FSU Seminoles, who, as they get ready to pit up on the road to Scott Stadium to take on the Virginia Cavaliers. And also we have got last time Florida State went to Virginia, this gentleman was the kicker for the Seminoles. So let's bring in the voice of the Noles, Jeff Culhane, and former FSU kicker, Ricky Aguayo. So, gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us tonight. And, Jeff, let's talk about this team so far. They have more wins than they did last year. The vibrant scene must be rocking and rolling down there in Tallahassee. So what are your expectations so far from the Seminoles team?
Well, Adam, Chris, it's great to talk to you. Ricky, great to see you. This is a fun surprise here on a Tuesday night. And as Ricky can attest to, it's a fun time to be a Nole right now. Adam, we don't really talk a whole lot about 2024. And so we're excited about the start of the season here, 3-0, and obviously a great opportunity here with ACC play starting up on Friday night in Charlottesville. So can't wait to get this thing going, and it's been a fun start so far for the Garnet and Gold, boys.
Oh, yeah, it's been really exciting for me being a big Knowles fan since I was 9 years old. And I was in tears when they beat Alabama because I was so happy because last year was a disaster. And I was like, I'm glad this is over. And I was like, I felt like, and Jeff, when we did the show the week later, I put the Blood, Sweat, and Tears song, You Make Me So Very Happy, as the theme song. And I put the clips of Mike talking on the field. And my mom goes, that looks like little Chris enjoyed that. I'm like, yeah, Chris is happy right now, because it's great to see my team rolling. And last weekend, I called the Kent State game a practice game because it was a practice game almost, bringing everybody in. We saw everybody. But here's my question. Is number one ready to go on Friday night?
Yeah, I think he's going to be fine, and they're taking care of him from an injury standpoint day by day. And he had said so even, I think, in one of his social media posts following the game, spoke with the media following the game as well. And man, he's been, it's what a fun addition it's been for Tommy Castellanos to be a part of this team. And he's, we've talked about it, guys. He's truly embraced the leadership role of this squad, and he's just done an amazing job. And Ricky, I'd be curious to hear your thoughts as a former player and a guy that has had a lot of success at Florida State. I think everybody was cautiously optimistic coming into the year. How proud are you of this team so far, getting ready for a tough game on Friday night?
No, absolutely. And Chris and Adam, thanks for having me on. Jeff, nice to finally meet you. I know we've been following each other on social media, so It's good to finally meet you. But to answer your question, Jeff, no, I'm super proud, especially like you said, after the season that we had last year. It's kind of been a roller coaster, right? 2023 was super good. And then, we got that whole thing going on with the playoffs, and then kind of rolled into last season. And now we're back up, or trending up, I should say, knock on wood. But I think, Tommy has been a really good addition to the team. You guys saw what he did to us when he was in Boston College, just showing that glimpse of, coming down to Doak and just really, kind of setting the tone, right? So, Tommy has all the tangibles of what it needs to be a great player. It just shows when you turn on the TV and you see him right away, you can just tell the decisions he makes, the patience he has in the pocket, and his ability to scramble. And nowadays, it looks like the quarterback's trending to that style of play as a quarterback. So it's always good to have someone like that on your team. It's going to be a good one Friday night, boys. I mean, I remember when we played Virginia, I think the last time we played them was 2019. And man, that they get loud up there, especially at nighttime. But when we played, it came down to the wire. We ended up losing, but them boys get loud up there. So it's going to be a really good test. It's going to be our second good test. And Alabama was a great team. But we're going to have to show our resilience, it's a short week. So I know the boys are kind of like a day back to what their usual schedule is. So I'm curious to see kind of the maturity of this team, how we blend together when it comes down to kind of the different schedule of the week, and really just looking to go out there and really prove ourselves. A lot of people say that Alabama win was kind of a flake or the first week jitters. Maybe Alabama got the first week jitters, but I really believe in this team. I believe in Tommy. We have a great defense. We have good players around Tommy on offense, really good special teams. I'm hoping to see a good showing from the boys on Friday.
Yeah, I'm just going to be hopefully. I know we don't want to look ahead to next weekend when everybody from my brother who's a Hurricane fan to people I don't even know call on me. I'm like, look, let's just get by Friday. Yeah. And if we get by Friday and if we put, if we put 50 on Virginia, maybe that could be a good way to say to Miami, come. Yeah. Let's go. But 100%. We see these things. This is like, and Jeff, you probably saw this when we were kids growing up. This is the old, Miami versus Florida State. The winners go to, the big battles that I grew up watching. I try to wipe out the wide left and the wide rights. And I'm tired of looking at it. But this weekend, it's just get by Friday night, and then we could go into October 4-0, and ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's got the shot to be, Chris. You're certainly right, and if it does get to that point, I think this Virginia game, like Ricky said, is fascinating. They are doing all sorts of promotions around the 30-year anniversary of the win in '95 with throwback uniforms, the 2-for-1 tickets, prices. They're really leaning into that. They've done a lot of social media content around it. And so they're trying to honor that anniversary of this game in a big time way. So they'll be ready to play. And I've been impressed by what they've done, the roster reconstruction that they have done under Tony Elliott. And don't get it twisted. This is the biggest game in Charlottesville in Tony Elliott's 4 years. And so they're going to be fired up and excited and ready to go. It's our first road game. It's our first night game. But I really like the maturity of our football team, the leadership of it. I think our coaches as well, with obviously Mike Norvell, but Gus Malzahn calling plays. Tony White's been unbelievable. And I think Herb Hand has the offensive line in a really good place, from a approach standpoint. Currently right now, I like how our coaches will get us ready to go going into a situation that'll be hostile and, different than what we've experienced with our first road test. But, yeah, to your point, Ricky, you live this, and all Noles fans know the background to it. Yeah, if we can get to that stage where we win on Friday night, and that won't be easy, but if you have 2 top 10 teams and potentially, who knows, 2 top 5 teams, that certainly takes you back to the glory days of college football in a lot of ways, in the 80s and through the 90s, and certainly all the great matchups throughout the years we've seen Florida State and Miami have. And I hope that's it's like that from a rankings perspective. I have confidence in our team that can be that way. But like you said, Chris, certainly a big challenge on Friday night.
Yeah, and I will say this, Jeff. Everything that I've been hearing regarding Miami at Florida State, a certain former person that was with ESPN is supposed to make an appearance down there in Tallahassee by the name of Lee Corso. So, it's like if game day goes down there, would they invest Lee Corso as the celebrity guest picker?
Yeah,
I know his last, time was, week 1 versus, with Texas and Ohio State, but why not? It's like, I think it would be kind of cool to see, but I will say this, I have really been impressed with our defense. Coach Tony White has, Earl Little Jr.
Little Jr.
Yeah.
Some of our freshmen, and it's like, wow. So, Jeff, what has impressed you most of all regarding Tony White as the defensive coordinator for Florida State?
Yeah, I think Ricky mentioned it a second ago. I think it's just the physicality when you talk about Earl Little, how he flies around, and just the depth of the way that team can go out and rotate bodies through up front. We played 10 guys along the defensive line against Alabama in that game. The secondary, I think, is as talented of a group as there is in college football, with just the speed and the athleticism and the physicality that's been brought to the table with Ashlyn Barker and Earl Little. And I'm really impressed by Ashlyn Barker with his rise, if you will, coming in from Iowa Western Community College and coming off of a season-ending injury where he didn't even play the season before he got to Florida State. And now here he is, and he's all of 6'3", 225 pounds, and can run like the wind. And so he's been fun to follow. And I just think the scheme, we've seen it in person. And Ricky, I'd love to hear what you have to say as well about that group and how just the way they keep opposing offenses on their heels. And it really feels like we're the ones doing the attacking, and offenses are having to react to us. What have you seen out of that group so far?
Absolutely. And going back to what I said, I'm a big fan. I might get a Earl Little Jr. jersey come Friday. I might wear it next Saturday going up to Tallahassee. It's gonna be my first game this season going up there. But No, Jeff, like you said, they fly around. I mean, you can just tell we got all the right guys on that side of the ball. And I really think on all three phases, offense, defense, special teams. But, we're talking about that defense. Having someone like Earl Little Jr., back there in the secondary that can come up, make a tackle in the trenches if he needs to, hawk someone down, make an interception, bring it back. Like he has all the natural ability. And I say it, he reminds me of a Derwin James, coming down the field. He's not afraid. I mean, he's just not afraid to take all his body weight into a hit. And that really sets the tone, man, because if you get like a 3-and-out or a defense makes a big stop in the red zone, holds them to 3, that momentum just rolls into that offense. And, Tommy and everybody's taking that out on that next drive. So it's always good. I mean, all the great teams have a great defense. So it's good to see that we have one. Like I said, we have all the right people on that side of the ball. So it's exciting to have those guys out there.
And it's called, it's really cool on the offense that we have an ACC track champion in Micah Danzy. It's called after everything I've seen, I mean, it's like when you give him the ball, you might as well give him the nickname the Roadrunner. It's called, he has it, and he's like, he uses that track speed, and it's like, gone see a good buy, and it's like, we didn't have that last year. And it's nice to see Deuce Robinson taking over, and hopefully Squirrel White will return soon. And it's like our offense looks like an offense that I remember when Jordan Travis was there that won us a national title. And, and Jameis Winston, when he was there, when Jameis was there, he won us a national title. And it's like, that's what Florida State needed. We got the quarterback that we needed in the transfer portal, and now it's like, I'm gonna get my snacks Friday night after work, Be like, come on, boys.
Ricky, who's the fastest guy you played with? Ricky, who's the fastest guy that you played with?
The fastest guy that I've played with. That's a really good question. You got Dalvin.
Yeah.
Back in my early days.
Yeah.
Pokey was super fast back my senior year, my junior and senior year. But I would honestly, and then on this side on the defensive side of the ball, I would put Derwin up there with those guys as well. But I'd probably have to say Dalvin. Man, when Dalvin got that second gear into the secondary, no one was catching him. I haven't seen some speed like that. To answer your question, Jeff, I'd probably have to give that edge to Dalvin.
Yeah,
I'll agree with that.
I talked with Coach Jim Gladden today on the phone, longtime defensive line and coach and linebackers coach for Coach Bowden, Hall of Famer at FSU. And I said, hey, who's the fastest guy you had? And Deion was the first one he brought up. Deion Sanders just had that different juice. Lavernius Coles was another name in the 90s. So many names you could go to at wide receiver, right? Good Lord. And really any position of those teams. But it's just interesting to hear which is so great about college football, is to hear the history and the connections and the tradition of decades of great players. And that's what a place like Florida State is all about. And man, Micah Danzy, as a true freshman, sets a Florida State ACC and ACC championship record with a 44.29 400-meter dash this past spring. And now he's kind of translating that over, Ricky, into football, where he's breaking tackles. And, I'm telling you, like, there's going to be some things teams do to obviously try and take him away. But, hey, if you're the fastest guy on the field and nobody can catch up with you, there's not much you can do to stop that at the end of the day.
Yeah. And then it's always good that we got someone like Deuce the next play, just throw it up there and let him catch it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like I want to get through Virginia, but then it's like I want game day in Tallahassee like it should be. I want
one more week, boys. We got to be patient.
Because I'm ready for the primetime showdown. Yeah. Can it be next Saturday already so we can have old school 90 showdown
Yeah.
But I know we got to get through Virginia first. But.
Right. Well, guys, we got to let you go, but thank you so much for coming on, Ricky and Jeff. And Jeff, we can listen to you on the Seminoles radio app, right? On the phone.
You can download the FSU Game Day app. That's the name of the app. Free to download, and you could also, if you're in Doak, you could actually listen to us without delay as you watch the game with the FSU Game Day app as well. So remember that for those that come back and are at a game watching inside of Doak moving forward. So it's pretty fun.
Awesome. That's awesome. And Ricky, I'll keep in touch with you, and we'll get you on probably if you want to come back on the following week against Florida and Miami. We could talk a little more.
Absolutely, Chris. I'm always a text away, man. Just let me know, and I'll try my best to make it on.
All right, buddy. Sorry for the late text last night. I was watching Monday Night Football.
Hey, man. I was too. My fantasy league came down to last night, and I won.
Oh wow, Ricky.
About that.
Oh, boy. Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for coming on.
All right,
guys. Enjoy the game Friday night, my friend.
Okay.
Thanks, Ricky. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Bye.
Thanks, guys.
All right, that's Ricky.
Chris, I'm ready for Friday night.
Yes, and that was Jeff Culhane. You can listen to him on the Seminole Radio Network if you're in Tallahassee. Yes. So what's
him and William Floyd do an incredible job down there, on the FSU Seminoles Radio Network.
Exactly. So let's switch gears here. Let's bring in the president of Puerto Rico Lacrosse. They're going to be here in town in Baltimore metro area at Sparks for a Atlas Cup. It's 4 teams playing each other: Canada, U.S., Puerto Rico, and I think there's another little country that we don't know, or or the Native Americans or something like that. So let's bring in Miguel Lozada, who is the president of the Puerto Rican lacrosse team. Hey, Miguel, thanks for coming on.
Chris, Adam, pleasure to meet you guys. Thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So talk about Puerto Rico lacrosse, because I dated somebody from Puerto Rico and didn't realize that lacrosse was big down there. I was looking at videos last night going, where do they play? Because I know everybody's on top of each other because the island's so small. But just talk about how did Puerto Rico lacrosse start?
Yeah, so we started in 2015. Myself and a teammate of mine from Liberty University started. It started from a phone call. He was like, Miguel, why doesn't Puerto Rico have a lacrosse team? I'm Puerto Rican. My dad grew up on the island. My mom as well. And I said, Nate, that's a great question. And from there, him and I worked for the past. We worked for 5 years, just kind of going through social media, and that was sort of the taking off of Instagram. And we really just honed in on social media and started doing clinics slowly but surely throughout the island on the west side, and then started moving towards the metropolitan area of San Juan. And as well, there's actually a lot of Puerto Ricans that play lacrosse in the mainland United States. So it really just took a concerted effort to get everybody on the same page, understanding what was going on. And ever since then, it's kind of been a snowball effect. And we're here now. We're going to Maryland to play the 3 best teams in the world at the Sixes version. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Yeah. I was reading about your bio. I'm from Long Island. I'm from Oceanside, New York. So where are you from on Long Island?
I grew up in Belmore.
Okay.
I was saving the comment on the Mets jersey for the end of the interview, but I can go put mine. I can go put mine on. We have we're on the outside looking in right now, but hopefully.
I know. I think LaGeorge is homered, so that's good. But we got to win all 6 of these games, or else I'm not going to have postseason baseball for this year. Last year, I got to say, I was down in Charlotte for the ACC tip-off for basketball, and that was the greatest day of my life because the Mets beat the Phillies, and I'm on the plane flying back home to Baltimore, and everybody on the plane gave me high fives, and you see all the Philly fans do like, what are these like? I think this year it's we're just tanking at the wrong time. It's like come on, dude. We should have swept the Nationals and we should have swept the Padres. Come on.
Mets up and down, but that's why
it's being a Met fan. We're used to this up and down crap my entire life. So, anyway, back to the trip to Sparks, Maryland this weekend. You're playing this in the Lattice Cup, and it's basically a prelim to the Olympics in LA in 2028. So because the Olympic sport now is lacrosse. So how are they going to get all these countries to come play lacrosse in for the Olympics, knowing that I know U.S., you guys, Canada, and I think they have the the Indian reservation or Indian Providence that's part of it too. How are they going to get other countries to come play lacrosse in the Olympics?
So the fourth team that's at the Atlas Cup is the Haudenosaunee Nationals.
Okay.
And they are credited with creating the game. So they are the
Right.
inventors of lacrosse, and that's why it's a big deal to have them. We're not in the process of getting lacrosse into the Olympics, but we're part of World Lacrosse, who oversees the entire world in lacrosse and all that initiatives. So from my understanding, there's going to be 6 teams in Los Angeles in 2028. I believe the host nation gets in, so the United States should be in. Outside of that, they're going to be doing events just like the Atlas Cup that are qualifying events. So the Atlas Cup isn't tied into the Olympics. It's more of a showcase event.
Okay.
But there will be qualifying events for the teams that are recognized by their Olympic committees. And those 6 spots are going to be hotly contested, probably hotter than the NL East race right now. So even though it's over, but it'll be something similar to that.
I found footage from 2018. Like you guys, played against Wales and other nations down there in Puerto Rico. So that must have been exciting to play on your home field. And was it good crowds for that week?
So the video you're looking at now is actually from Israel. That was a 2018 championship. That was, this is giving me nostalgia, guys. This was our first men's team that we put together. Okay. They went 5-0, and we moved on to the playoffs, and we lost to, at the time, the Iroquois Nationals. It was 8-8 going into the fourth quarter, nail biter. They pulled away. They got some of the best players in the world, but it was a great tournament for us.
Okay. Yeah, because I saw this on YouTube last night. I was like, oh, okay. And I didn't know it was Israel. Because I'm trying to figure out what the signings back there is. I'm like, okay. Yeah. But
here's the thing. It was just as hot. Puerto Rico and Israel were probably just as hot, if not hotter. So it would have been the same thing anyway.
Yeah. So talk about, before I send it over to Adam there, let's talk about Puerto Rico in general. Is it one of those high school sports that we have here in Maryland and all the way up the East Coast? Is there a lot of high school kids playing lacrosse on the island?
So we're just talking about the Olympics. The Olympics is not our mission. That's one of our goals. Our mission is to get exactly what you just mentioned, lacrosse into all the high schools, all the youth elementary schools. Currently, right now, we have about 3 to 4 schools that are operating lacrosse at the academic level. Okay. They're not competing, but it's more of just training purposes and learning the game slowly but surely. We also have in Ponce, which is the bottom part of the island, a new abandoned school that's been renovated, where we're going to be doing a bunch of different sports outside of lacrosse. But to your point as well, the only sport we teach in Puerto Rico is sixes, and that's the version that's in the Olympics. The high school version that we grew up playing in Long Island and Oceanside, that's 10 on 10. The reason we don't do that in Puerto Rico is not every school has a full football field or soccer field to commit to that. Sixes, you and I can play in the backyard. We can play in an alleyway, and it's just more accessible that way. Less equipment as well.
That's cool.
So to answer your question, it's varying degrees.
Okay. Yeah, because up here in Maryland lacrosse is big in high school. It's like if you see in the springtime, even down in North Carolina, it's pretty big.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy. Then now you got lacrosse and women's lacrosse is expanding too. Florida State has their first collegiate team on lacrosse this year. After how many years of being a club team, and there's a lot more club teams that you see Division I schools.
I would love to see lacrosse take off in the ACC, and there's 5 teams now in the ACC, but if they got down to the South, it would take over.
Yeah. Adam, you got a question?
I do. Miguel? So I also have a connection with the New York Mets, Miguel, because I have a cousin who knew former New York Met legend Tom Seaver, and I had a grandfather who was a lawyer who was one of the founding members of the New York Mets baseball team. So it's like I have connection with the Mets as well here in North Carolina. So it's like, there's an event taking place on the island in December. It's called the Sixes Cup, and I was reading about it, and it sounds really cool. Tell us exactly what the Sixes Cup is going to feature in Puerto Rico in December.
Yeah, no, so really excited about it. It's called the Palace Sixes Cup, like you just mentioned. It's for the Pan American lacrosse teams in our region. We have about 9 countries coming down playing sixes, and to quickly get into sixes, it's like basketball. It's 5-on-5 with a goalie. And if you score, you take the ball out and you keep playing. So it's very different from 10-on-10. But it's the first international lacrosse event that we're hosting in Puerto Rico. It's going to be on the east side of the island in Humacao at one of the premier high schools that are taking on the sport of lacrosse as well. So we're excited. We got the Haudenosaunee Nationals who have committed, Brazil, Argentina, Chile, Peru, Mexico, of course, us. So we're very excited. And the Dominican Republic is bringing a women's team as well. So that's going to be a 4-day event capped off with a champion and at a beautiful location. So we can't wait to showcase the sport in Puerto Rico and get
hopefully it's going to be available on like YouTube or something like that, because it sounds really cool and I want to watch.
Yeah, no, we're working on that. So we're hopefully have the broadcast up pretty soon. And if we get a link, I'll absolutely share it with you guys.
Yeah. So, since you're from Queens, New York, just talk about, some of your favorite memories as a New York Mets fan.
Oh man, I got some good ones. So I live in Astoria, so I'm in the backyard of Citi Field right there. When it was Shea Stadium, my dad took me to watch Pedro Martinez pitch against the Astros. And Pedro had a no-hitter going into, I want to say it was either the top of the 8th or the top of the 9th. And I remember this like it was yesterday. Brad Ausmus hit a home run off to left field, no-hitter gone. And my dad just tapped my shoulder. He's like, all right, time to go. And I didn't understand the moment. I was devastated because we were this close to, getting to watch a no-hitter. That was one of my favorite moments with my dad together. And then, of course, the 2001 Mike Piazza.
Yes, after 9/11. Yes, I remember that one. Yeah.
I'm getting goosebumps right now thinking about it when he hit that home run after 9/11. And that was a tremendous moment for the city, tremendous moment for Mets fans. And I'm getting choked up thinking about it, man.
Yeah, I've actually gone. Now, technically, you weren't supposed to go anywhere in 2020, but me and a couple friends, we actually went to New York City, and we saw the memorial, and we saw the Trade Center, and it was like seeing that. I was like, I can remember exactly where I was when 9/11 happened. I was at a local community college here in North Carolina, getting ready to take a computer class, when a friend of mine said, "Adam, you better come in this room with the TV." And I was like, I remember that day, and I'll never forget that day. And it's like, it's sad, and I know the anniversary was a couple weeks ago, and it's like, but it's called, as a New Yorker, it's like, I actually had a grandmother who grew up in Scarsdale, New York. So it's like, I went to the Bronx as a little kid. So it's like, I'm very familiar with Long Island as well. And it's like really cool. And it's called, now Chris knows this, but it's called, I live in North Carolina, and yes, I am an Atlanta Braves fan. So it's like, since the Braves are making the playoffs, I am pulling for the New York Mets to make the playoffs. And
Miguel's like dying over here now. He's like, oh,
yes. Yeah. So it's like, I want the New York Mets to go to the playoffs. Since I have history with them. So.
Yeah, no, Adam, and sports was a great support for us during that time. Yes. The Braves obviously give me heartburn because they killed us in the early.
It's called, we've had a down year this year, but there's always next year.
Yep.
Exactly. All right, Miguel, thank you so much for coming on tonight, and good luck with safe travels to you to Maryland and Sparks. I wish I could get up there this weekend, but I got stuff going on. So good. Well, I'll be watching from afar. So good luck, and I hope you guys do well.
Sounds good. Adam, Chris, it was a pleasure, and I will talk to you soon.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
Thanks, Miguel.
Bye.
Chris, he was cool. It's called, we need to get him.
Lanza from the president of the Puerto Rico men's lacrosse team. Yes. Before we bring in the coach and both coaches for Bryant and Towson, this happened earlier at Wrigley Field.
Everybody else in the National League. So the 10-game hitting streak working.
And he drives one out to left center field. Deep in the gap goes Crow Armstrong, and it's out of here! Francisco Lindor delivers the keynote with a leadoff home run. As he has.
All right, so it was 1-0 Mets over the Cubs, but I will give you an update.
Yes.
What's the verdict? So it was 1-0. So we'll talk. I'll keep you guys updated. Yeah, and plus also we're going to keep an eye on the Reds and Pirates because we want the Reds to lose. No offense to.
I have. Yes, I know.
Yes. All right, let's bring in these next two coaches. We're bringing Coach Jmac from Towson on. He's live on the phone. And let's bring in Coach Merritt, who is from Bryant. These two schools are going to be playing each other this weekend, Towson and Bryant. So, Coach Merritt, thanks for joining us. And also, Coach Jmac, thanks for joining us by phone. So, let's go with you, Coach Jmac. Tough game last Saturday against Youngstown State at home. What did you guys learn from that tough game?
Yeah, no, and Chris knows exactly how I feel. He was in one just like us. Brutal to do all that, go through a game like that, and not find a way to come out on top. So our guys battled, our guys fought hard. Give Youngstown a lot of credit. They had a better fourth quarter than we did, and when you do that, you come out. We came out on the sad end of that thing, but thought our guys fought hard. Thought our guys played a really, really good football team, and I thought we played really, really well. Guy made two pretty good field goal kicks at the end, but we definitely had our opportunities.
Yeah. So, Chris Barrett, you had a tough game last weekend down at Campbell. It was a double overtime thriller, but you came up on the short end of it. So, what did you see from last weekend from your guys?
Our guys are going to fight. That's one of the things that they've struck me all season, as well as the two FBS games that we've played. Our guys are going to fight you to the very end. And, Pete knows winning on the road in the CAA is hard and it's tough. And, you just can't when you have control of a ball game, you can't let up the strain because the second you let up the strain, the other team's going to push back, and they did. 5 minutes left to go in the ball game. We got a turnover deep into their territory, and the next 5 plays that we put together was a 3-and-out by an offense. Special teams missed a kick, and then we gave up a deep pass for a touchdown. And just like that, we went from controlling the game to going into overtime, and that's where we lost it.
Right, exactly. Well, Coach Shinnick, so this week you got to go to Bryant. So what do you guys, like you said, it's always tough Coach Merritt just said it's tough to win on the road in the CA. So what do you guys have to do to change that around?
Well, first off, Chris has put together a great team, and I think, watching him last year, we didn't play each other, but watching him on crossover film, he's put together a great team this year. And, they beat an FBS team. They took another FBS team down to the wire. And, again, losing that thing in double overtime. Very impressed with what they're doing. For us, we're just trying to continue to get better and continuing to try to grow as a team. And, again, you play a game like Youngstown, and now you got to go back, or you got to come back the next week, go on the road, go play a conference opponent that's playing really, really well. So for us, just trying to get better every minute, every day. Was really happy with the practice we had today. Our guys came out with great life and great energy, and we got to build on that.
Adam, you have a question for?
Yeah, I do. First of all, it was really cool to finally get a chance to meet you in person, Coach Shinnick, when Chris and I were at the Maryland game a couple weeks ago. Truly an honor, and Coach Merritt, congrats on the win versus UMass from the FBS. I know that was a cool win for the CAA, but Coach Jmac, just talk about the motivation, from the loss to Youngstown State, to get you guys going to this week's game on the road against Bryant in Rhode Island.
Yeah, and again, great to meet you, and great to see you guys in person. I appreciate that. Appreciate you guys being at that game. With that, I think, everything starts over now. Conference is a whole different deal, and the CAA has always been, week in and week out. It does not matter who you play. It does not matter what your record is. You are in for a difficult game, and we expect that same type of game this Saturday. And long bus trip for us. So we'll be headed up there, and again, Chris's team's playing really well. Extremely impressed with what they're doing. So for us, we're going to have to buckle up and get after it, give ourselves a chance.
Exactly. And like you said, and Coach Merritt, congratulations on the win against UMass. It was a big win over a former CAA coach, Coach H, who used to be in Maine. So that must have been a thriller, for you guys, to beat a very good UMass team. But now you got to move on. You're 2 weeks removed from that. So what did you learn from that game to hopefully get all this momentum going? Besides last week's game against Campbell, just something to get better.
Sure. Well, we have to protect the football. That's turnovers. When you play, you look at our schedule, and there's really no relaxed games. There's no dogs, and turning the football, winning the turnover battle's got to be something that we focus on. We do focus on it, but we've got to do a better job of executing it. Right now, I want to say we're second or third to last in the league when it comes to turning the football over, and it's hard enough to win the ball games when you don't turn it over, but when you give the opponent the ball 3 or 4 times, you exponentially make your job harder, and that's something that we've got to eliminate moving forward. And you look at the matchup against Towson, and Towson, I refer to them, they're the blue blood of the CAA. They've been in it for quite a long time. Very successful historical program. Towson was in the CAA before Bryant even was a football program. So, that kind of puts that in perspective. And we know that the task that we have in hand and the challenge that they pose physically, they're a very big and strong physical football team. It's only my hope that playing against 2 straight FBS teams kind of gets you conditioned to playing guys that going, trying to move a Volkswagen out of a parking space is kind of hard, and they're built like that on both sides of the ball. So we have our hands full. Yeah.
And Coach Shinnick, I got to say, your quarterback, I know we saw 2 of them at the Towson game, at the Maryland game. Just talk about their development last week. And did the freshman, learn from his mistakes from Maryland and look like he did better?
Yeah, Andrew's getting better every week, and we've been really pleased with his growth and development. And each week, I think he adds to his game, and he continues to see a little bit more, and we're able to put a little bit more on his plate. He's been coming along really, really well. And then Winston, we've always got a package for Winston, always trying to find ways to get, the ball in his hands in different ways. And so, we got a couple touches. I think at Maryland, touches at Norfolk, or might have been Morgan. So, but yeah, always looking for ways to continue to grow his package.
That's true. That's awesome. Adam, you have the final question for both of them. Go ahead.
So, with this being the second game of the CAA conference schedule, who in the CAA to you looks like the cream of the crop? And I'll start with you, Coach Shinnick. Who looks really good to you in the CAA other than yourself?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. No, hey, the only team I've watched is Bryant, and so they look really good to me. And, obviously we're watching their game against Campbell, and then we're watching their 3 others. So that's really the only one in the CAA that, that we're focused on. And, again, coach is sitting here like I am going, dang, if I could have this play back or this play back. He went through his last 5 minutes. I mean, if we'd have gotten a first down in the last 5 minutes of the game against Youngstown, might have been a different deal. We had 2 drops that I'm pretty sure put us in field goal position, to kick the winning field goal. So for me, Bryant looks really good, and for us, we know we got to go up there, and we're going to have a 60-minute battle on our hands.
Well, that's what they play in the CAA, right? Our coach, Merritt, it's 60 minutes, blood, sweat, and tears, and we'll see who stands at the last after this game on Saturday.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, guys. I appreciate you coming on tonight. And Coach Shinnick have a state trip to Rhode Island. I've been to Rhode Island once, but I went to Providence, so it's okay. It's a nice little. I love the Mystic Rhode Island is where they had the great lobster rolls. So yeah, that's where I went a long time ago.
There you go. Well, it's been about 35. I'm trying to think how long it's been since I've been to Bryant College, but when my dad coached with the Patriots, that's where they would train.
Oh, wow.
That's right. Yeah.
Since then, because football didn't exist when that was happening.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's great. That's good history there. Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, Coach Merritt, thanks for coming on, and good luck this Saturday against Towson. And Coach Shinnick, have a safe trip to Rhode Island, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
All right, Pete. Travel safe, bud.
All right, man.
Thanks, guys.
Yes. Take care.
All right, Coach.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. We're all, that's the Bryant taking on Towson this Saturday at 1 up there in Rhode Island. You can watch it on Flow College Sports. So anyway, last night in Baltimore, the Ravens took on the Lions in a primetime battle on Monday Night Football, and I think Jason Kelsey was playing with the he was playing with the Ravens marching band.
Yeah.
He put the hat on, and and it was like.
I will say I didn't expect. To me, I thought Baltimore was going to win, but give credit to Detroit and Coach Dan Campbell. A lot of respect for him, and Chris, like I do, going in there and winning at M&T Bank Stadium is not easy.
No.
So it was like you want to talk about a victory? That was a huge victory for the Lions and the NFC in general.
Right, and also, back in I heard stories back in the old days where we just talked about the '75 Colts, and I heard that place was rocking back in the '70s.
Oh, yeah.
Stadium. So it's basically they call that outside a sales asylum. Maybe they want to call that down at the bank the same thing. Yeah. So let's bring in the 2 guys who cover Detroit. Let's bring in Michael Gray, who covers the Lions as well, and Bruce Walker, who just joined the show. He covers the Lions as well. So he wrote a book about the Lions. Hi, Bruce and Michael. Thanks for joining. And let's bring in Matt Trigger, who is one of the co-hosts with Daniel Wilcox on, I believe, Bleed Purple podcast. So we'll talk a little Ravens Lions. So let's talk to you, Bruce. Thanks for coming on tonight. What did you see from last night? It was really pretty interesting how the Ravens defense used to be so great against the run, and they ran, the Lions ran them through like Swiss cheese last night.
Well, better in the second half for certain. The Ravens started out pretty solid, but that 98.5-yard drive, the first drive over 95 yards. What has it been since 2001 since the Ravens have given up a 95-yard drive, something along those lines?
Right.
And we had 2 of them in the game last night. Man, I think that's got to be rather demoralizing. And I know you guys were missing a couple of good players last night.
Mm-hmm.
You missed your tackle and the end whose name I'm escaping on the names right now, but he played for the Lions actually a few years ago, but he's been doing really well for you guys. So you missed a little bit of bulk in the middle there. So And David Montgomery just right up the middle had a lot more success than Jahmyr Gibbs did. So where do you want to go?
Yeah. Well, I feel like, to me, like, we've been, and let's bring in Matt here. Let's talk to Matt. Matt, we live in this area. So all day today was basically everybody was really angry with each other because of the game last night. It was like my boss was telling me, like, he was like, yeah, I had people come in every time talking about the game, how it was terrible and all that stuff. I'm like, and I looked at him and was like, it's just a football game. You're not playing in it, right? He's like, I know, but a lot of people around here take Ravens football serious, just like in Detroit. They take the Lions serious too. And it's like, it takes what's that rule, you guys? 24 hours. You got to let it go and move on. I guess around here is maybe 46 hours.
I was there last night. It was rough. It was, I like Bruce was saying, we were missing Nnamdi Madubuike and Kyle Van Noy, so that really kind of hampered the defense a little bit. We were playing some guys that have been inactive through the first 2 weeks. There's really no excuse. We just got punched in the mouth. And the last couple of times we played Detroit, we've embarrassed them, and this has come up as for us. They came in prepared. They mitigated Lamar on the ground. They took Derrick Henry out of the game. We did that on our own by stopping the run. We ran all over them the first quarter. They looked like they didn't want to make any tackles on Derrick Henry as the game progressed in the first quarter, but then they just abandoned the run. And when you have guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams and Sam Laporta catching the football, and then Jahmyr Gibbs can catch out of the backfield, Dave Montgomery's running right down your throat, on backup defensive tackles. It's next man up, but they had a perfect game plan. They took away the safety net of Lamar using his legs, because Lamar isn't a run first guy anymore. He hasn't been that for about 3 years now. And I mean, we're getting farther removed from that 1,200 yard rushing season that he had a couple years ago, but it's just it's what are you going to do?
Right.
Defensively, the Ravens front seven didn't get any pressure. Siebel is probably the best right tackle in football. Taylor Decker's no slouch at left tackle, and you guys have relatively new inside guards, and they still played well. And I'll tip my hat to them. You guys came into our house and kicked us in the teeth.
Yeah, it was pretty. It's like nobody does that to the Ravens. It's like the Ravens do that. They're when they go on the road. And Michael, let's talk about the Lions. Their defense. Hutchinson is coming back from broken fibula, his leg, and I was watching that pregame show. I gotta say, why is people hitting low to knock him out? That's not the right thing to do. That's dirty. Come on. Give me a break. Yeah.
Well, it's allowed within the rules, unfortunately, and he's 6'7", and he's really, really good at what he does. Coming back from that tib fib, obviously, if there's a way to get him on the ground, they're going to go for it. And the Lions have sent notes to the league. They've sent footage of that stuff to the league. But the bottom line is, it's within the rules. He's just going to have to learn to play through it.
Right.
And he's a premier pass rusher. He's going to have to deal with that kind of thing all year long from everybody. Because obviously offensive lines are going to be aware of where 97 is.
Yeah. Adam, you have a question for?
I do. So, Bruce and Michael, regarding the Lions, with this win last night, does it say to the NFC, guys, after we made the playoffs last year, we're not backing down and we can go anywhere and win on the road?
Well, it certainly has been. I mean, that was the narrative in the offseason, was that the Lions were suffering brain drain. They had lost a couple of coaches, coordinators, and position coaches, and that they were supposed to take a step back. This week and last week, the fact that they've been able to operate as efficiently as they did against the Bears and taking apart Chicago, and then going into Baltimore and in Allen Park around those players all week long, all anybody was asking them is whether or not they remembered that 38-6 game back in 2023. And there's a lot of guys on that roster that remember going to Baltimore and being embarrassed. It was one of the worst games of the Dan Campbell era, was that last time they went to Baltimore. They'd never won there, and they were reminded of it the whole week long. Ben Johnson's gone. a lot of really good players are left on that offense. You mentioned all the skill positions. They got a rookie in Tate Ratledge there at one guard spot on the right side next to Sewell. Christian Mahogany, who has only got a couple of starts last year under his belt as a 6th-round pick out of Boston College, basically a rookie. They're getting better. They're getting their legs underneath them. Obviously, anytime you're in Baltimore, it's a big, big test. But this offense is starting to hit its stride and looks eerily like last year, even without Ben Johnson.
Yeah, I will say this. I was really impressed with the Lions last year. You know, going to the playoffs and winning at home. It was really, really cool to see. So, Bruce, do you think with the team the Lions have right now, do you think they have a shot to get back to the playoffs?
I fully expect them to make it back to the playoffs, and I want to build a little bit on what Michael said, and that's, remember last year, the Detroit Lions did not lose a road game. That's true. The year before, the last game of the season, and the first one was against Kansas City Chiefs, the Super Bowl winners.
Right.
The year before, the final game of the season was in Green Bay, where they knocked the Packers out of the playoffs 45 minutes after Seattle won their game and knocked any opportunity the Lions had for making it into the playoffs. So all the talking heads were busy relaying that the Lions had nothing to play for, except they just went out and laid down 2x4 on the side of the Packers' heads and ended their season. They're grateful to do that. So the narrative that this is something new, this has been Dan Campbell's mantra for years. He doesn't care where you're going to play. He doesn't care if it's on grass, it's on turf. He doesn't care if it's sunny, snowy, indoors, outdoors. He's going to take a chunk out of your leg or bite your kneecap or whatever he wants to use. And when he first came on the scene, everybody thought that was okay. I think that he likes the idea that people think he's a meathead, but he's really not. He's extremely smart, hugely motivational. And he doesn't care where he plays. He just loves to play football. And the bigger the challenge, the more he likes it, the more he craves it. Look at last year. Look at the Lions' record in primetime games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's like, I will say I have a lot of respect for Dan Campbell, what he's doing in Detroit. To see Aiden Hutchinson when they drafted him, out of Michigan, it was really cool, that he stayed home and he proved why, where he was drafted, he has been solid since he's been with the Lions. And getting you, Matt, regarding the Ravens, even though they lost last night to the Lions, going forward, do you see that the Baltimore Ravens still can contend overall in the AFC?
I think they're going to be a playoff team. It's a little. I hate to be doom and gloom because it's only week 3, but there's a lot of things the Ravens have to fix. They have absolutely no depth at defensive tackle. There's a chance Nnamdi Madubuike misses the rest of the year. The reports aren't good about his neck injury. The defense is not playing very well. For as many all-pro guys that they have at all these different positions, they're just not gelling right now. They may get to that point, but you got Kansas City, you got the Rams coming up. This is going to be an important stretch right here to where you got to get a couple of big wins under your belt, because right now we're 0-2 against playoff teams from last year. And it's incredible that the Ravens have scored 111 points and are 1-2. They've given up 97 points in 3 games. I've been a Ravens fan since they got here in 1996. I was 8 years old when they got here.
Wow.
7 years old. I'm sorry. I was 7 years old when they got here. I've never seen a defense with this many superstars playing this poorly.
Right.
That's sad.
The Ravens 2000 defense gave up 113 points all year. The Ravens have given up almost that in 3 games this year. I know different eras, different team. They can contend, but you have to get over. There's two main people in the way, and that is Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. And I'm a Lamar supporter through and through. I think that he's probably one of the best quarterbacks of this era when it's all said and done. But if you can't beat either one of those guys in the playoffs, you're not going to be, at the top of anybody's list, mine included. But you have to beat Buffalo. You have to beat Kansas City. Joe Burrow is going to miss the rest of the season.
Right.
Aaron Rodgers has already fallen apart in Pittsburgh, and in Cleveland, my guy Joe is starting over there. How long that the wheels are starting to fall off over there as well.
Right.
So you can technically the AFC North is still for the taking, but I'm not worried about the North. I'm worried about Kansas City and Buffalo.
Yeah, like you should be.
I've got a question for Matt, if you don't mind. I was listening to NFL radio on Sirius XM NFL radio today to Jim Miller and Pat Corbin Move the Chains, and there was a Ravens fan that called in that sounded very similar to you and very frustrated about the game last night. And this is bad, that's bad. These people played poorly. And Pat Kerwin toward the end got in and said, hey, how about we give a little credit to the guys on the other side of the ball? Maybe the Lions just played really good. So which is it? Or can it be a little of both? Did the Lions play exceptionally well? Or did the Ravens play poorly? And it's not really all doom and gloom. They just came up against two powerhouse teams that were throwing haymakers like a early Rockies movie at each other until the last one standing last night was the Lions.
Mm-hmm. It can be both. It can honestly be both. Because the thing is, I did reference in an answer earlier that the playmakers that you guys have just took us to the woodshed, and there's no excuse for it. We could have had Nnamdi Madubuike. That might have mitigated a little bit of David Montgomery, but there wasn't a linebacker on this team that can cover Jahmyr Gibbs out of the backfield. There wasn't a defensive back or a tandem of defensive backs that could defend Amon-Ra St. Brown no matter what you did with him. Mm-hmm. Now, the Ravens didn't play up to the standard that I have for them because I'm spoiled. I expect defensive excellence no matter what, because to be honest, this offense we have, this is something new to us. Right. We've only had this for about 4 years now where we've been a high octane, high powered offense. And that to me, as a fan for 30 years, for 15% of the time, that's not a lot. Most of the time in my Ravens fandom, I've been watching dominant defenses hold together piss poor to mediocre offense. So now my expectation of this defense, it might be more than what it should be, but the Detroit Lions have one of the best offenses in football. They had it last year and the year before that. So I would be incredibly ignorant to say it was all the Ravens screwing up and not Detroit just running the ball down our throat for 250 yards. You guys came into our house and put up almost 40 when the last time you came here, you didn't even put up a touchdown. So the arrogance can be there, the expectation can be there, but you guys came in and did what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to beat teams that are seen as a threat to win it all, because that provides legitimacy to our divisions and to our teams as well, our home teams. You guys are against the Green Bay Packers and the Philadelphia Eagles. You guys are the three clear-cut NFC teams. Until proven otherwise. So I can't sit here in good faith and say, oh, we just had an off night. We got our asses whooped. I was there. I watched Sewell body slam our defensive ends. I sat there and watched Jahmyr Gibbs make our secondary look stupid, make our second level of defense look stupid. I saw you guys bullied us on both sides of the ball. We can't win when you get your running backs are running 7 yards downfield before they're touched.
Yeah,
it's incredible to watch in real time, because I haven't been to many Ravens games where we've gotten our asses handed to us that in a physical manner like that in my life.
Yeah. Well, guys, Bruce and Michael, before you go, you got Joe Flacco and the Browns on Sunday. So how do you guys?
Easy victory.
Well, but hold on a second. Any given Sunday, it could happen. Like last weekend, everybody thought the Packers were going to steamroll the Browns, and the Browns won 13-10. So you don't know, what's going on. And Michael and Bruce, how do you keep this game going, this momentum going after just knocking off a very good Ravens team on their home turf, going back home to your turf, and welcoming in a guy named Joe Flacco? You could do the Maryland sweep by the time you're done with this.
Yeah, offense has got to keep playing the way that they did in terms of efficiency and not making mistakes. I think one of the things that got lost in all of the gaudy offensive numbers is the fact that the Lions didn't allow a sack last night.
Right.
Jared Goff didn't go down, and no turnovers. Myles Garrett's going to be there. He's coming in from the mistake by the lake. That guy's terrifying, and you've got to have a plan for him because he can wreck a game. He's that kind of presence. So the Lions can take care of the ball and they can keep themselves from any kind of big mistakes, they're going to have a shot because right now this offense is operating at a high enough clip that they can challenge just about anybody at all three levels of their defense. But they've got to make sure that Jared Goff stays upright and they can't be turning the ball over.
That's exactly right. I completely agree with that. I think Tate Ratledge had a PFF grade of over 90 last night, and for a rookie in his third game, that's solid. Everyone was concerned when Frank Ragnow retired, except it seemed maybe the Lions weren't as concerned because they had a plan to replace him in case he chose to retire. Didn't the Browns have the number one defense in the NFL last year? And they seem like they're pretty solid again this year, or pretty close to it. And I don't expect it to be a cakewalk. I don't think they have a great offense, but they've got a pretty solid defense. I mean, they shut down Green Bay last week. I watched that game, and it wasn't all Love's mistakes, but some of it was.
Right.
So it was kind of like before. I think the Lions can take care of business, but they have to take care of business. And I think Dan Campbell will have them ready to go. The Lions don't come out and play many flat games for sure.
Exactly. Well, Matt and Bruce and Michael, thanks for joining us tonight. And Matt, when are you and Daniel doing your podcast this week?
We are still locking down. It's either going to be Wednesday or Thursday night. We have a really special guest coming on to Daniel. Gary Stills was one of his teammates in Baltimore in the mid-2000s, and he played on the Kansas City Chiefs. He was a special teams ace and an outside and inside linebacker. So he's going to be our guest this coming week. We're going to be verifying that tomorrow night, but it's on the We Bleed Purple podcast on YouTube.
That's cool. Well, Matt and Bruce and Michael, thanks so much for joining us tonight, and enjoy the week of getting ready for Sunday. Is going to come real quick, and we got more football. Starting. So put that chin strap on and ready to go. That's why I look at it. So
thank you, guys.
Thanks, Michael and Matt. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for having me.
Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. All right. All right. That was Bruce Walker on, and Matt Gray from Detroit, and Matt Trigger, who does a podcast with We Bleed Purple podcast with Daniel Wilcox. Let's bring in our next guest. Virginia's hosting the Seminoles of Florida State this weekend, and this guy is probably going to be one of the big cheerleaders for the Cavaliers. Let's bring in our good friend Jmac Morris, who hey Jmac, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, man, how are you doing?
All right.
I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
Thanks for
Doing
coming.
good.
I know that you hurt yourself during preseason and you're out for the whole year, but just talk about the vibes around there. You've been around the team all those 3 games, and last week you took on Stanford and you guys steamrolled. And what do you think about this week? I know you want to get your leg better and get ready for Florida State, but what's the mood like there on the campus?
Oh, the mood is, everybody, we not really making the game, bigger than how everybody saying the game is, but we just kind of like taking it, as Coach Elliott said, we taking it day by day. And we not just, focusing on the logo. We know that it's Florida State. We know it's a big game for us and the University of Virginia, but we not kind of letting the media or anybody else kind of dictate how we're going to play. We just going to continue to play UVA football and continue to do what we've been doing to win us games.
Mm-hmm. Well, you hurt yourself during the preseason, so how's the injury going?
The injury is going good. I'm 5 weeks. I'm 5 weeks out of surgery. I'm ahead of schedule. I'm starting back walking, but I know for sure I'll be healthy next year.
Yeah. So what happened? Was it during fall camp? You twisted and turned the wrong way? I know our bodies are not used to being twisted and turned because mornings I get up like, oh God, my feet are killing me. What happened?
It was I think it was day 9 or day 8 of fall camp. One-on-ones. My last rep of the day. Guarding a post route, and I try to deflect the ball, and then the receiver fell, and then I landed kind of like weird on the ground, and I really kind of knew what it was because I had heard a pop, and then I instantly had grabbed my knee. So I was kind of already knowing what it was, but when I got the MRI, they told me that I'm out for the season with a torn ACL and meniscus.
Oh, yeah. And you have a question for Jmac?
Yeah. So, what have you seen from the Virginia side that could give Florida State fits on Friday night at Scott Stadium?
Can you repeat the question?
Sure.
Going kind of like detail about it.
What have you seen from Florida State that could give them fits on versus Virginia on Friday night?
With that question, I can't really say that is, we kind of know what, we know what those guys are about. They're going to come in cocky. They're probably not even worried about playing us this week because, they play Miami next weekend. So we kind of got that vibe really just from the film. They haven't really showed too much, because they haven't really played anybody since Alabama. So they haven't really shown us too much, but we know they're going to come in and they're going to run the ball for sure. And they got a lot of explosive guys, the quarterback Tommy Castellanos. I played with him at UCF, so I kind of know what type of guy he is. So I'm kind of giving the guys in the back end an insight on what he on him.
Understandable. So just talk about what's the hardest thing for you to do? I know you want to play, and I know everybody wants to play. Are you listening to more of the you're a cornerback? Are you listening to all the plays in your head? Do you have like a headphone or anything, like listening to what the coach talking? So you're up to par when you come back next year.
At first, once I had got surgery, I was kind of I was home. I was in bed rest for like a week or so. So I kind of had fell behind with the playbook and stuff. But now that I'm able to walk around and be in the film room with the guys, I'm kind of catching up. It's kind of like day one things. But no, I don't be on the headset or even on the sideline. They have me sitting right in front of the right where we run out of the tunnel. I be to the right at behind the end zone.
Adam, you have the final question, big guy.
Sure. So since you're on defense, who are some of the key players on Virginia's defense that Florida State needs to be aware of on Friday night at Scott Stadium?
Really the whole defense. But I mean, if I can kind of pinpoint some guys out, I would definitely say, having Cam Robinson back, that helps us a ton. James Jackson, Jameer Carter, our corners Platt, J. Rob, E-Man, and the rest of our defensive line. Those guys don't really get they don't really get as much credit as they supposed to, because we've been kind of blowing a lot of teams out with our explosive offense. So, but a lot of people don't really see the grind that we have on Monday through Thursday. So shout out to those guys, and like I said before, we gonna continue to play UVA football.
And I know they're bringing back the historic 1995 uniforms on Friday night, and and I know that Chris and I remember in 1995 when Florida State was ranked, they went to UVA and put up and you guys had the W versus Florida State. So it's like when I heard they're bringing back those uniforms, I was like, does Virginia want to do that again 30 years later and upset Florida State? I mean, I'm looking forward to the game. I've heard that Virginia's offense has some talent as well, and I've heard that you guys also have a top 5 offense. So I've got my popcorn ready, I've got my snacks ready, and I'm ready for an exciting game Friday night on ESPN from Scott Stadium.
Yes, sir.
All right, Jmac, I appreciate you coming on. I hope you get well soon, and we hope to see you on the football field in 2026. So don't be a stranger. We'd love to have you back on.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for having me on your show.
All right, man. Talk to you soon, bud.
Yes, sir.
I see it. Bye. All right, that's Jmac Morris, who is on injury reserve right now.
Sad.
Speaking of that, after the Virginia game on Friday night, please join us for the Knoll football post-game wrap-up. Hopefully we'll be in a positive manner. Next Tuesday, before we bring in our next guest, next Tuesday night at 7:30, we'll be back here. We're going to move it to Tuesdays for a while because we don't want to go up against Monday Night Football.
Sure.
But here's what we're going to do next week. We're just going to play this real quick.
We got 75,000. There's one in every seat.
He's got Amp Lee down there. He's got it.
They came here to see Hurricane football.
Caught Andre Johnson.
Let's go like a bunch of crazy men and play some games.
Touchdown, Florida State. Touchdown, Miami. Wobbling. Football picked up. Touchdown, Seminoles.
When I think about Florida State, I think about the great rivalry we had. Every time we played Miami, they call it Game of the Century.
Remember, the winner of this game has gone on to win the national championship.
It was a period of time where University of Miami was outstanding, Florida State was outstanding. Nearly every time we played, it was 1 versus 2, or 1 versus 3, or 2 versus 4. The thing that made it so special is so many good players. There were more pros on that dadgum field than they had up in the NFL. Big rivalry like Florida State and Miami. There's just so much more excitement.
Here it's 19 all, 2:30 to go. Urban's got it. Urban's free. Urban's gone. Touchdown, Miami.
Danny McManus has talked Bobby Bowden out of going for one in a tie.
No good.
The gamble fails in Tallahassee.
I've got great memories with Florida State. I remember one time, I guess it must have been in about '88, they were ranked preseason #1, and they had done a rap video prior to the game.
We are the Seminoles of Florida State. We know we're good, some say we're great. Our goal is simple, best in the land. Rockin' to the beat of the March Chiefs band. Hey, I'm Deion Sanders, should know my name. But if you don't, then I'm not to blame. I got world-class speed with Moose Spout. You throw it my way, you know I'll be there. You see, I play my best when the game's on the line. I guess that's why they call me prime time. Some call me cocky, and I know that. But this I got to do, the Seminole rap.
And we had all our kids back, boy. We were going to win it. We go down there and play them. They beat us 31-0. Just killed us.
Working against the clock. Down over the middle. Touchdown, Miami.
This could be for a national championship. It's up. Gershman to the right.
The missed field goals, that was unbelievable. I had a kicker that never missed a field goal inside the 40. And we missed a wide right. The next time running out, same thing, wide right. Another time we played them.
3 yards away for the win. The kick on the way. He missed it. Wide left.
Wide left. And I think there's about 5 times where we lost to them with a wide kick. He said, dadgummit, do you realize how many national championships we would have won if it hadn't been for this guy? It used to make me so mad. We played Miami every year. It seemed like everybody else would play them, and then they'd drop Miami. We had to play them.
Chris, you had to bring up wide left and wide right.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, next week we'll be talking to, we'll have that big, talk about the big showdown in Tallahassee on our program. So hopefully you could join us. Where is it? I have it here somewhere. I just lost it. Yeah, next week we'll be doing that next Tuesday night at 7:30. Let's bring in our next guest. This guy played 2 weeks ago. Cameron Yards was hosting some best of the high school prospects. This gentleman is off to Clemson next year, but he had a great game at Cameron Yards. I guess he won. He also won the home run derby. So let's bring up a little video here of him. So it's Jaxon Matthews, he's from North Carolina. So he's a lefty. Yeah, is that a right-handed hitter, right? No, left-handed hitter.
No, he's a lefty.
Yeah, he's a lefty. So he hit some pretty decent bombs at Cameron Yards last. With the weekend we were down at the
weekend when we were in College Park.
Yeah. So let's bring in Jaxon if he's there. Hello, Jaxon.
What's up?
Hey,
can you hear me?
Thanks for coming on today. How are you?
Good. How are you? I don't know if my camera's working or not, but
it's okay. We're used to having people. We try to guess the voices on the show, so it's no big deal. So talk about you. Thanks for your dad for hooking this up. Appreciate him helping me out. Talk about your time at Cameron Yards. How cool was it to play in that classic ballpark? I know it's not the ballpark you grew up. We grew up watching. It's been remodeled and all that stuff, but it's still one of those figures of in the Major League Baseball.
Yes, sir. Honestly, it was just an unbelievable experience, like being able to play in a big league park with all like the best players in the country. Like a bunch of those guys are my boys and everything. So honestly, it was just an amazing experience being able to even hit in the home run derby, take BP on the field, like see the locker rooms and everything. Was honestly just amazing. And yeah, there we go. And then just being able to play with all my boys, being able to play with all my friends. And then obviously I'm a big Ken Griffey Jr. guy. He's the only player to ever hit one off the warehouse there. So I've watched that video thousands of times. And obviously the whole thing with the Cal Ripken record with the however many games he's had, was it like 2,600 games or something that he's played consecutive there. It was just crazy. So just being able to like I said, it's just been a dream. It's just been a dream since I was a little kid to play in all these big league parks. And I would say Camden Yards is definitely up there for the top 3 I played in. So it was just a cool experience, really historical. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to your father on Facebook. He was saying to me that he had some scouts saying, "Hey, if you keep working at it, you might be able to be something in 2026 or 2027." And is that one of those? I know that's a goal for everybody. I used to play baseball too. And I didn't have the good skills. Like, I had one week I went 7 for 7, and I was like, I felt like I was Frank Thomas when they started walking me. It's like, but how cool is it that having these scouts coming up to you? Because I know you're committed to Clemson, really good ACC school, and you're like, wow, I could do really well in Clemson, and also maybe one day, live out your dream of playing in Cameron Yards as probably a visitor, or maybe with the Orioles. You never know.
Yes, sir. I think it's super cool. Like it's happening so fast too. Like the high school flew by. Obviously, so I'm still a senior in high school right now, but just being able to get these Power 5 offers from all these schools is just been a big dream too. And it's just like knowing that the 2026 draft is coming up. Like I'm on the clock, and I just got to work hard every single day, and hopefully that opportunity comes. And if it doesn't, I have 2 really good years at Clemson and then go play in the big leagues too after that. So it's honestly just an unreal experience. And I've been thinking about it since I was a little kid, working at it every single day, trying to get bigger and stronger. And just just looking up to all these guys in the MLB, like all the bunch of Orioles players. Like my favorite player is Bryce Harper. Like I wear his number. Like I follow my swing after him. It's just baseball has always been my life. I feel like I've just been traveling my whole life for it, and like I'm so glad that like all the hard work is finally paid off, and I get to just live all these amazing experiences and travel the world to play the sport that I love. So I just think I'm just honestly really blessed to have this amazing experience and just be at the top of my class for all the kids out there and all the kids that look up to me. And it's just an amazing experience and a great feeling inside to me.
Yeah. So you live in Davidson, North Carolina. Let me switch it over to a guy who's in North Carolina. He's down there.
Yeah, it's called. I actually know where Davidson is because I actually live in the western part of the state, Jackson near Asheville. So it's
Yes,
like
sir.
So my question to you is, what stood out to you regarding Clemson? Because I'm assuming that you had other ACC schools, looking at you. So what stood out to you, going to Clemson?
Yes, sir. I would say that me and my whole family, we grew up in Greenville. I've been a big Clemson fan my whole life, going to all the football games, all the baseball games. And I knew like as soon as I went to take my visit there, it just didn't feel like anything else. Like it felt unreal. Like it felt like my home as soon as I stepped into there. Like since I was a little kid, I've always wanted to go to Clemson. It's always been my dream school. So I would say, obviously, they have a really good coaching staff over there, too, with Bakich coming in, winning Coach of the Year multiple years. So I would say, like, the environment there, like, they have their whole sports programs all around each other, just all the great people that go there, all the amazing experiences, just touring the campus. It's beautiful and close to home, too. So easy for my parents to come up and watch games if they want to. So I would just say it's just honestly been a dream to go there, and just I'm blessed to just have the experience or have the just to be able to be committed there and be able to just go there next year and just live out my dream. And like I said, I love the purple and orange on me too, the colors. So just that's why, yeah, I just love everything about Clemson.
And how cool it be for you to go play in the ACC, knowing you look at ACC schools like Florida State, Virginia, Miami, NC State, with so much history here in the conference. So how cool
it's super cool being able to go play in one of the top divisions in the whole country. Being able to play Division I baseball at all is just a blessing for anyone. But to be able to play in the ACC with all these good teams and all these good players is just unbelievable. And just like I said, like half the kids on my team, because I play on a really good travel team, those kids are also committed. So just being able to just go to college and play against them and not with them, I feel like that's a thing that's going to be a good experience for me too, because I played with those kids since I was 9 and 10 years old. We've been growing up together, and it's just knowing that next year that I'll be playing against them and not with them is obviously a bummer, but at the same time, it's going to be super cool being out there with my boys on the other side of the field.
Yeah, I will say that I love watching ACC baseball as a whole because you've got teams like Clemson, Florida State, NC State, Miami with national recognition. So just talk about how cool it'd be for you to play at legendary Doug Kingsmore Stadium, at Clemson University.
Yeah, I would say playing at Doug Kingsmore Stadium, it's obviously one of the most beautiful stadiums in all the ACC. So, the historical hill they got out there,
yes,
that's one of my favorite parts of the whole stadium, and just all the new things that they've added in with the batting cages and the new all that new technology stuff is just super cool to me. Just being able to play in front of all those fans is going to be super cool, and just going out there and just balling out and knowing that I got people out there wanting to watch me play, and just the ball does fly really well there too, I would say. So just hitting some bombs, having fun, just enjoying the game until it gets old.
Now, is there an ACC school that you're looking forward to facing when you playing with Clemson?
I would say definitely. I would say probably Wake Forest or North Carolina. A bunch of my boys are committed to both those schools, so it's just going to be a super cool 3-game series. It's just looking forward to playing against them, like I said. And it's just, I don't know, just show them who the better ACC team is, and that's obviously going to be the Tigers. So,
well, I mean, now, what you may not realize is that Chris and I are both fans of another ACC team, and that's Florida State. So how cool it be for you to go either play Florida State at Doug Kingsmore Stadium or hit the road to go play at legendary Mike Martin Field in Tallahassee?
Yeah, I'm definitely a big Florida State fan too. I would say like that was one of also my really close schools that I was considering, but I would say that's obviously going to be super cool being out on the beach in Florida or coming up and playing in South Carolina and Clemson. Either way, that's going to be an amazing experience, and being able to play and just hopefully they keep working hard just to be able to play against them next year. It's just crazy to think about that everything's happening so fast. Like I'm going to be in college next year and have the opportunity to play against all these amazing ACC schools like Florida State. So it's honestly just an unreal experience for me. I'm super blessed. Yes, sir.
That's awesome. Well, Jaxon, we'll keep an eye on you, big guy. I hope you have a great rest of your fall with your high school, and hopefully we'll see you in Clemson, and we'll try to do an ACC championship thing when I know they do the baseball. Yeah. So hope to catch up with you down there, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
All right, man.
Thank you for having me. Have a great night.
All right, buddy. See you.
Thanks, Jaxon. Oh, right. That's cool.
Matthews, who is a Clemson recruit. So our good friend Pete the Greek said, good luck, young man. That's what he
nice. Hi, Pete. It's called.
Hi, Pete. So speaking of, we're gonna be moving on to next weekend. Besides, the Ravens have to get off the Snipe, and I guess they have to go to this place.
I'm going to Kansas City.
Yeah, they're gonna go crazy.
Yes, and I'm a Chiefs fan, so I will be.
Yes, Chris. I think Kansas City is known for barbecue, so
we should go there one day.
The Chiefs haven't looked like the Chiefs this year, and the Ravens, don't look like the Ravens. So there should be a quite interesting game next week in Kansas City.
Exactly, and hopefully we'll see. Hopefully the good guys will win.
You mean the Chiefs, right, Chris?
Yeah. So let's bring in Bethany Bowman, who is a sports reporter for out there in Kansas City, and I appreciate her coming on tonight. So Brittany, I'm actually a Chiefs fan in Baltimore, so I have to work. I have to go to a hostile environment on Sunday to watch the game with my girlfriend's parents, and I looked at her mother tonight and go, is it okay if I come down because I'm a Chiefs fan? And she's like, like you're in a hostile territory. I know. Because here's a fun fact. I put my Chiefs flag out last year. I got seriously people in the neighborhood want me to burn it. I'm like, are you serious? It's just a flag, people.
That's kind of the. Can you guys hear me? Okay, I'm trying out a new mic.
Yeah. You sound good. You sound good. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of the Tom Brady, the Patriots like dynasty effect right now. Like, I don't think anybody really asks for that. Like, the Chiefs are not like, we want that treatment, but it just kind of happens. You go to so many Super Bowls in a short span of time, and all of a sudden you're just kind of like that hated team. And the Chiefs embrace that. I definitely feel like there's work to do this year. So, no one's, I think, feeling that way right now as far as maybe what they felt in the past couple of years where, we're going to kind of steamroll some teams. I think every game right now, especially with the injuries that we're dealing with and the circumstances and suspensions and all that kind of thing, every earned or every win is a hard-earned win. And, we're just trying to, I think if you're the Chiefs, get one on Sunday versus a very good Ravens team who, I got to talk with a team reporter for the Ravens today on my radio show. And it was interesting to hear her perspective because she's coming into Kansas City. She's like, I don't feel good about the Chiefs game or moving forward some of those maybe lesser games that people might be looking at on the Ravens schedule because the Ravens kind of play down to their competition. And I hadn't really thought of it that way, but I would have to agree that, I think the Ravens are a really good team, but for some reason we see them in a lot of really close games. Mm-hmm. And so I think that could be an advantage for the Chiefs because right now the Chiefs are not at their peak. They're definitely not at their best. They're just fighting for a win. And this is a Ravens team and a Chiefs team who are 1-2, looking to get a win. As much as I didn't feel concerned in the early stages of the season, it's like, wow, we really do need to get a win if you're the Chiefs, because looking at playoff implications, this is really important right now.
Right. Well, it's important because you got NFL Today coming to your neck of the woods. So they talked about it last Sunday. I love the old graphics when they had Brett Musburger on. Back to when I was a kid growing up. I remember the old graphics on the NFL Today. Like in the late '80s, early '90s, and I'm like, that was pretty cool. I love that. But it was pretty funny. Did you see Coach Cowher? He looked like John Lennon. Really did. He looked.
I don't think I saw that.
Yeah, with the mustache and the wig, he looked like John Lennon, and Matt Ryan looked like somebody from a '70s X-rated video. I'm like, seriously, dude?
Yeah.
But the only person who was good was Nate Burleson. He looked, and James Brown looked like he was back in '75. He's like, "What's up, big guy?" But anyway, but it is a big game because me being a Chiefs fan, this past Sunday against the Giants, that was really pathetic. We should have just blown them out because the Giants are terrible. And we kept them in the ball game for some apparent reason. And I feel like Patrick is doing whatever he takes to get the ball downfield, and I feel like Travis Kelce needs to focus on football. Don't worry about the wedding. We'll do that later. We need to focus on the football. And I just feel like he's not focused real well because we saw that against the Eagles. He had that off his fingertips, and the guy picked it off and ran it back to the end zone. And I thought he was not paying attention. But he might be. You're around them all the time. Is he laser focused?
It's hard to answer that question, I guess, because no one really knows where someone's focus is. But I have gone into the season thinking that Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are not a distraction. If anything, they're better for each other in their respective careers and kind of worlds. And so for Travis, I'm so happy for him that he was able to find somebody who I think is genuinely a good match for him, a compliment to him. It comes with a lot of things being because you think about Travis Kelce and a lot of people in the football world know Travis Kelce, but then Taylor Swift is on a whole nother level, and she's the most famous woman in the world. So I'd like to think that, as laser focused as he should be. I do think there are things that come with it. I read something today, and honestly, guys, I didn't even have a chance to really look into it too much. I read it on a quick break from something at work, but I saw potentially he had someone potentially around his house delivering a notice or something at 2 a.m. And whether that was something I read on Facebook or not, because I never know what's true anymore. My dad always jokes. He's like, I saw this on Facebook. Is it true? And I'm like, I don't know, Dad. I couldn't tell you. But, if something like that were to happen, that's super scary because you've got, the most famous woman in the world sleeping in your home here in Kansas City. And I know Travis wants to keep her safe. And, there's a lot to worry about when someone like Taylor Swift enters your life. That being said, everything that Travis has told us leading up to the season and within the season is that he is super focused on the year. He wants to make it a really good year. And whether this is his last year or not, I don't know. I know a lot of people seem to think this is kind of his last shebang. Unfortunately for him, there was the drop pass last week. He hasn't gone off for a huge game or anything quite yet. And I would like to see that for him. So I'm hoping that comes. I don't, in my heart, think that he's letting some of these off the field things affect his football play. But who really knows? Like I said, I think the only person that can answer that is Travis Kelce himself. So
right, exactly. Adam, you have a question for her?
Yeah. So when the Chiefs opened up their season against the Chargers in Brazil, Bethany, I had picked the Chiefs to win that game because what I saw last year in the Chargers from Justin Herbert, and I was like, did Justin Herbert do what I think he did? And then it's like, and you guys should have blown out the Giants easily. And it's like, do you think the NFL has finally caught up with the Kansas City Chiefs in the where they play their game? Because this is not like the Kansas Chiefs teams that we've seen in the past, and it's like 1-2, and it's like, do you realize that if the Kansas City Chiefs are not a number one seed, they could have to go up to Western New York to take on the Bills at home, and as a Chiefs reporter, how crazy of a place or Highmark Stadium is to play for an opposing team.
Well, I know a lot of people and, maybe even teams like the Bills are probably salivating right now seeing this 1-2 record, already looking ahead to things like, will the Chiefs have to come to us and, play a non-home playoff game, things like that. And trust me, that's a very, possible outcome. I think right now, what I am kind of holding on to is that this Chiefs team is not the team that it's going to be here in about, 4 weeks. You're going to get Rashee Rice back from a suspension. And, a well-deserved suspension, I will say. I mean, there had to be some sort of consequence for the actions that were, that had taken place. I know the Chiefs had worn the Free 4 shirts the other day, and I don't know if you guys followed up at all on, Andy Reid's explanation for that, but, he kind of pinned it to, hey, these are guys that are just supporting one of their own, supporting Rashee Rice. They just want to show their support for him. Now, personally, Free 4 from something that he did himself and a suspension that he, had brought down on him for something that he had done. I don't know that I agree with that. Let's have Rashee Rice serve his suspension and then get back. But regardless, he's a key part of this team that is missing right now. And then you got Xavier Worthy. And you guys brought up that Chargers game where obviously not the ideal start to the season. I think it kind of shocked the world to see the Chiefs go over and play so flat in their season opening game. But when you lose a guy like Xavier Worthy, especially on a play where your own teammate takes you out, like Travis Kelce, that was kind of demoralizing. And I was happy with the fight. I felt like they showed to get back in that game. There was a chance there at the end. Chris Jones ultimately did not contain Justin Herbert. And you probably saw there was some chatter between him and Drew Tranquill. Obviously some early kind of miscues and some issues going on. I will tell you, I feel like all of that is kind of on the field. Frustration. I know that I get very frustrated, even in my rec league volleyball when things are not going well. Sometimes you don't get super friendly with your teammates if you think somebody did not do their job. And so I kind of like the accountability Drew Tranquill held of his teammate Chris Jones. But then in week 2, an Eagles game where I felt the Chiefs really could have made a statement and really could have won that game. And it just did not feel like the Chiefs team that we've seen in the past couple of years. So to answer your question, do I think the NFL has caught up with the Chiefs? I would say somewhat yes. I'm very impressed right now with the Chargers, for example. You want to feel bad about a week 1 loss to them, but I think they're a really good team, a very potential playoff team. Eagles, obviously defending Super Bowl champions. That tush push is extremely hard to defend. I don't know what we're going to do about that from an NFL standpoint. I do think something might need to be done as far as making sure it's ran correctly and ran legally. But regardless, a 3-point loss there. And then, of course, the Giants, you said it, they just look pathetic. I was really hoping in week 3, you're 0-2. But if you really play well and you show something good in the Giants game, you can feel a little bit better. Personally, I just didn't. I wasn't concerned really with an 0-2 record. I was concerned with what we saw in week 3. But I think the Chiefs can hold their hat on a win's a win. They got it done. Now in week 4, you really, really, really have to play well against the Ravens.
And I will say this. What's your take on having a division game outside of the United States, like we saw in Brazil with the Chiefs and Chargers?
Yep. I think it's great for growing the game. And I love what the NFL is doing as far as trying to get the game into other countries. And the only way that you're really going to grow the game is by doing that. And that goes back to, Lamar Hunt, one of the staples in the creation of the NFL. He did things like this. He was a big pioneer and advocate for growing the game, making sure it became outside of just the United States. And I love that. That being said, I think that one team always comes out a little bit on the short end of the stick. Obviously, you want to think that it's probably the team that loses the game because, hey, that's on your record. You got a loss. You don't want to lose any time, especially though in a division game, and especially on a game where you spent a lot of time and just energy and hype. You're going over to a different country. You've flown multiple hours on a plane to get back. You're going to be extra just down, jet lag, all of that type of thing. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know if the good outweighs the bad as far as we're growing the game and growing the NFL. But one team certainly kind of pays the price in that regard.
I like it. Thank you.
That's true. Well, Brittany, thank you so much for coming on tonight, and hopefully, the good team will win on Sunday. The Chiefs.
I like that you think the Chiefs are the good team. That's great.
I think the Chiefs.
I've been a Chiefs fan.
I will say this too. I think the Chiefs find a way to win against the Ravens, and since it's going to be a hostile environment at Arrowhead, I think the Chiefs win.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson is my fantasy quarterback, though. So as long as the Chiefs get the win, we can let Lamar go off for like 40 points, get me some points. That's okay too. So.
Before I let you go, I've been a Chiefs fan since Joe Montana came to town. So and everybody's looking at me like,
I love it.
And everybody's like, "Oh, you've been a Patrick Mahomes fan." I'm like, no, Montana's my guy. And he's still perfect.
I love it.
So.
But were you there for the the Trent Green and the Alex Smith days?
Yeah, I
like them to that? Okay.
Long story short, I had an uncle who lived in Kansas City, and one day he looked at me and goes, "Do you want some Rising jerseys?" I'm like, "Sure." So he sent me a whole box of Andre Rising jerseys, and I looked at my mother like, "Well, I guess I'm a Chiefs fan. I can't walk around school with Chiefs jersey on. I'm not a Chiefs fan, so I got to be." And I loved it. And Montana came to town, so I was like, "Yeah."
Perfect. All right, thanks, guys. I appreciate the support. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Bethany. See you later. Bye. All right, that's Bethany Bowman joining us from Kansas City. Ravens Chiefs on Sunday at 5 on CBS. Before we
I will say, since the Steelers and Vikings are playing in Ireland,
before we go,
we have to get
before we go to Ireland and talk about that game, we have an update in Wrigley Field.
Edtion. That's drilled to deep right field. Suzuki going back into the well. That ball is out of here. Brandon Nimmo ties the game with a 3-run homer.
Let's go, Mets.
All right. 6-6 as we speak, and we'll see an update here. End of 5 in Chicago, still tied at 6. Going to look at the other game here. Something just went final. The Pirates. Let's bring in the folks from Pittsburgh. Going to say thanks.
I will say. I'm hoping that the Pirates can.
Well, the Pirates beat the Reds. Guys. Thank you so much for knocking off the Reds tonight, because I'm a Met fan. So I appreciate it. Josh Carney with us, and Al Saunders, who cover the both color the Steelers. So are you guys flying over to Ireland?
No, I'm not making the trip. This is the first time I won't be going to a Steeler game for a while, so pretty disappointed by that. But the team's only going over on Friday, so I was kind of hoping for a whole week of Irish culture kind of things, but Mike Tomlin said today just a business trip, and they're definitely taking that to heart.
Yeah, I won't be going over. I was trying to go as a fan, but that's just a little too much there. So I will watch it like the rest of the United States here.
9:30 on Sunday morning. I'll be watching it with breakfast. Yeah, so that'll be good. Yes. So just talk about this game. You guys coming off a beating the Patriots. I got to say the Patriots gave you 5 turnovers, and somehow you kept them in the ball game. Because I was sitting there the whole game on Sunday watching it, and I'm going, come on, you got 5 turnovers from the Patriots. You got to do something to knock them out, and you kept them around. So what do they got to do to not have the same repeat on Sunday morning in Ireland?
Well, I think they're going to be better on 3rd down on defense and 4th down. They gave up a whole bunch of 3rd down conversions, and I think 3 or 4 4th down conversions. Again, they couldn't get off the field on defense. Right. Defense was on the field all day, and that defense is too talented to play like that. Too many good players. I mean, their offense was a struggle. They scored in the first 2 possessions. They scored in the last one, and the whole rest of the middle was a bunch of 3-and-outs. I don't know how much better they're going to be on offense. They don't have an overflowing amount of talent, but the defense should be really good. And for them to be on the field all day against a pretty so-so Patriots team is pretty disappointing.
Yeah. Well,
I think they need to be a little bit better on defense, like Alan said. I know that Mike Tomlin today in his presser kind of blamed quarterback mobility with Drake May as some of the issues on 3rd down and 4th down, which kind of rang hollow. They had a lot of 3rd and long conversions. I know there were multiple 3rd and 13 conversions. Quarterback mobility didn't play a factor in that. So it's the highest paid defense in the league for a reason. I know that they are banged up. There's a number of injuries in the secondary, a lot of new pieces here. But they need to start being the defense that they're paid to be. And I just think this offense is going to be a continuous work in progress as long as the offensive line continues to struggle to run the football. So I don't expect a ton different this week. I know that the Vikings are getting a lot of weapons back. Jordan Addison's the big name Tomlin talked about, but it all comes down to the defense. And I think that's what everyone largely knew coming into the year with how they built the roster.
Yeah, I was looking back in the history of this. This is probably the biggest game for the Steelers and Vikings since the Super Bowl they played against each other in the 70s. Because I don't know any Vikings Steeler games that had any meetings, but this is just in another country. So this must be cool for both teams, and their fan bases going over, because Minnesota has to stay there the following week to go play the Browns in London. So they're going to be there for 2 weeks. So I guess they'll be doing some sightseeing. Besides what the Steelers should be doing.
Yeah, they played in London in 2013, these two teams. Vikings won a pretty miserable game for the Steelers. Big high-scoring game. A lot of these seems like a lot of these European games end up being fairly low-scoring, so that one was a bit of a difference there. But, yeah, every 4 years, not a lot of history between these two teams, but I think there's intrigue in the matchup. Brian Flores, the defensive coordinator for the Vikings, was an assistant with the Steelers a couple of years ago. And there certainly been a lot of discussion this week amongst the Steelers fan base about whether he should have remained in Pittsburgh instead of being allowed to leave and go take that job with the Vikings. And so Jordan Addison, as you mentioned, Pitt guy. So I think there's definitely enough intrigue in the matchup, in addition to, obviously, the Steelers are very excited to play in Ireland with their history with the Rooney family there, and something they've been looking forward to for a very long time.
Yeah, I think it's cool for the Steelers going there. And, I feel like these international games, there's so many of them now. It's like, you can't keep track. How many just have you go into Spain, Ireland, you got, Brazil, next year I guess they're going to expand to, I heard one year they're going to go to China. Like seriously? How many more games? These games used to be the American Bowl when we were kids growing up. They were exhibition games. Now they're part of regular season games. It's crazy. Anybody want to chime in?
It just it kind of feels like overkill. I've always thought I was in the minority there, but we're going to see a team over in London, or in England somewhere at some point with the NFL.
Right.
That just feels like the path that we're on, but. Yeah, it's cool that they're playing in Ireland. It's very fitting that it's the Steelers, but everything else internationally, the games feel sloppy. It just feels like a money grab. So, but this one has special meaning, obviously, with the Steelers' ties to Ireland, and there's going to be a lot of eyes on it.
I think it would be cool instead of the like you're saying, there's a Spain, there's a Brazil, I think it would be, and I don't think they'll get to a team in Europe.
I sure hope not.
Maybe ever, certainly not anytime soon. But I would be okay with teams have let the Steelers play in Dublin once every 6 or 8 years. Make it their sort of de facto second home. They play all their home games in Pittsburgh, and every once in a while they play one in Dublin. And the Cowboys every once in a while play one in Mexico City, and the Rams every once in a while play one in Japan. And I don't know, that would be interesting to me. At least it would feel like there's some kind of permanence to it. Right now it just feels very random.
Rather than the Panthers and Colts in Germany, I don't understand.
I live in North Carolina, and when I heard the news that the Panthers and Colts were going to play in Germany, I was like, really?
I don't understand the connection. I don't. unless I'm missing it. Like, I don't know why the Panthers and Colts would be playing.
I
in
don't know,
Munich.
Josh. I have no clue.
Yeah. Well, I agree with your guys' point. Like try to find what the origin of the teams. Like with the Steelers going to Ireland because of the Rooney family, so there's Irish connection. Yeah, Brazil. I don't know about the Chargers.
I don't know either.
I have no idea what that was. I feel like with Mexico City, you got the Arizona Cardinals are very big down there. Mexico City. So you let Arizona play a game in Mexico City. And bring up that fan base. Even in Toronto, you got the Bills are big in Buffalo and Toronto.
Yeah, it's called. Chris, it's called. I can say this to you guys. I actually know a couple Buffalo Bills fans who live in Canada, and they are very, very passionate. And it would be kind of cool one day to see the Bills play a regular season game. Right. I mean, you could play it at the at the Rogers Center, do it on an off weekend when the Blue Jays are on the road. I mean, let the Canadian fans experience, a Buffalo Bills home game. But a question to you guys is this: what has been your take on how Aaron Rodgers has performed so far in his in the first few weeks in a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform? I guess I'll start with you, Josh. What's been your take on how Aaron Rodgers has performed so far this year, as a member of the Steelers?
Yeah, I mean, there's been some good, there's been some bad. There's times where he's looked like a younger version of Aaron Rodgers. I know week 1 he had all the stats, and I think obviously he had an extra boost playing the Jets. There was more meaning to that game for him. The last couple of weeks, it's been hit or miss. It's still a lot of dink and dunk. There's a lot of throws at the line of scrimmage or within 5 yards. I know last week it felt like he wasn't stepping into a lot of throws, and I think that there isn't a ton of trust right now in the offensive line, which is understandable. But it's been clear since the day he showed up at mandatory minicamp. The arm talent is still there. It was there in training camp. He's making all of the throws asked of him. I think that this group offensively needs to get better up front and protect him a little better. And I think they can do that by also running the football a lot better than they have. But he's as advertised at this point as a 41-year-old quarterback. The arm talent is still exceptional, and he can get them into the right plays and make the right reads. I know that the interception Sunday to Robert Spillane, of all people, was very questionable. Had no clue kind of what he was looking at, but Rodgers has been what people expected. He's not a savior. He's not a guy that can't play anymore. He's just kind of middle of the road and fits for what the Steelers need right now.
Yeah, they need a veteran quarterback. They need somebody. And then Russell Wilson was not the answer, because I feel like he was like all over the place. So you see him in New York now, but you got Aaron Rodgers. I feel like he got a bum rap in New Jersey, with the Jets because I think the Jets just picked him up just to sell tickets and people to go to MetLife Stadium. And I don't think he really wanted to be there because that offense was not suited for him. It's sad.
Sure. I'll agree with that, Chris.
Yeah. Well, guys, I appreciate you coming on tonight, but I hope you guys enjoy breakfast Sunday morning. You can watch it on the NFL Network, and you guys in Pittsburgh, you can watch it on your local stations. But thank you so much for coming on tonight, and I hope you guys enjoy the game on Sunday. We'll keep in touch.
Thanks, Chris. See you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, see you. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys.
Now, Chris, before we wrap up, since we did not have a member of the Minnesota Vikings on,
I tried.
I have to give a special shout out to a Minnesota Vikings fan that I know, who is also a diehard Minnesota sports fan. Her name is Anna.
Okay.
And when I say she's a diehard Vikings fan, she and I were messaging each other on Twitter on Sunday, and it's like she almost lost her voice when the Vikings went up against the Bengals. And it's like when I say she's diehard, Chris, she's diehard. He has gone to a lot of Vikings games. He in a lot of twin games this year with her dad, and it's called She's Hoping. It's called
That's cool. Yeah, I was trying to get a Viking person on, and
it's called. I tried my hardest to get in, but she was busy, so it's like, so
we try to flip on both sides of the coin here. We have no favoritism. Before we go, we had a firing today. Before we go,
it's called. Hey Chris, you know what they say? Hey Chris, you know what Mike Gundy said, right?
Yeah. Well, I have the video. Let's play it real quick before we log off.
Yeah, go for it.
Go ahead.
If anybody hasn't read this article, I don't read it. This was brought to me by a mother of children. I think this is worth reading. Let me tell you why I'm talking about this article. 3/4 of this is inaccurate. It's fiction. And this article embarrasses me to be involved with athletics tremendously. And that article had to have been written by a person that doesn't have a child and has never had a child that's had their heart broken and come home upset and had to deal with the child when he is upset and kick a person when he's down. Here's all that kid did. He goes to class. He's respectful to the media. He's respectful to the public. And he's a good kid. And he's not a professional athlete. And he doesn't deserve to be kicked when he's down. If you have a child someday, you'll understand how it feels. But you obviously don't have a child. I do. If your child goes down the street and somebody makes fun of him because he dropped a pass in a pickup game, or says he's fat, and he comes home crying to his mom, you'd understand. But you didn't have that. But someday you will. And when your child comes home, you'll understand. If you want to go after an athlete, one of my athletes, you go after one that doesn't do the right things. You don't downgrade him because he does everything right and may not play as well on Saturday. And you let us make that decision. That's why I don't read the newspaper. Because it's garbage. And the editor that let it come out is garbage. Attacking an amateur athlete for doing everything right. And then you want to write articles about guys that don't do things right and downgrade them, the ones that do make plays. Are you kidding me? Where are we at in society today? Come after me. I'm a man. I'm 40. I'm not a kid. Write something about me or our coaches. Don't write about a kid that does everything right, that's heart's broken, and then say that the coaches said he was scared. That ain't true. And then to say that we made that decision because Donovan Woods, because he threatened to transfer, that's not true. So get your facts straight. And I hope someday you have a child and somebody downgrades them and belittles them, and you have to look them in the eye and say, you know what? It's okay. They're supposed to be mature adults, but they're really not. Who's the kid here? Who's the kid here? Are you kidding me? And that's all I got to say. Makes me want to puke.
And Chris, you realize that Mike, the day after the day is called, I believe that was like the anniversary. It was yesterday, and he got fired today.
Oh, wow.
Crazy, huh?
Yeah, no, that's crazy. Well, we're going to wrap it up here, but we appreciate you all joining us tonight. We'll be on next Tuesday. We'll Puerto State, Miami. Plus, we have a professional bowler coming on. Graham Fox going to join us.
Yes.
And we'll get some other people as well. Chris Vi today won the Tony Reyes Award.
He did. I know Chris. I know his mom Angie.
Yeah, Angie everybody cookies. I heard all about this.
Yeah, Chris.
Yes.
It's called. I know Angie Vi quite well, and I've had her cookies, so it's like it's called. If you come to the Chris, it's called when the PBA tour schedule gets announced. If you can make it up to Akron, come on up, and I know Angie Vi will be there, and you can have one of her world famous cookies. It's called. They're really good, folks.
That's cool.
I'm a witness.
Well, before we go, a score update in Chicago. Bottom of the sixth, the Mets are up 7-6 on the Cubs. Bottom of the sixth. That game's on TBS if you want to watch it, or on SN.
Thank you. Now I know what to watch. When I'm done here.
76 in the bottom of the sixth, and the Reds lost to the Pirates, so the Mets could actually get their game back in the third wild card. And if Mets win one more, and the Pirates, if the Reds lose, we got to have them lose 3 in a row, and we win 3, and we could probably get back in the postseason. Yeah. We'll be joining. Thanks for joining us tonight, and we'll see you next Tuesday at 7:30. We'll talk Canes and Knowles. Before we leave, we want to do a salute to the NFL Today. If you didn't see the pregame show last week, here it is. We appreciate you joining us. We'll see you all next Tuesday night.
Or Friday night after
Friday night. Yes, Friday night after the Florida State Virginia game, we'll have our Knowles post-game report. And then next Tuesday at 7:30, we'll get you ready for Canes Knowles, battle in Tallahassee. So thanks for all our guests tonight, Jeff Culhane and Ricky Aguayo joining us, and Bethany Bowman joining us as well, even Jaxon Matthews and Jmac Morris, and the guys from the Lions, and Michael Gray and Bruce Weber joining us as well. And also Pete Shinnick and Coach Merritt, Chris Merritt joining us as well. So we appreciate you all joining us tonight. Here is the salute to the NFL Today. Have a great rest of your week.
Good night, everybody.
Stadium in Minneapolis. It's a battle of backup quarterbacks. Jake Browning for the Bengals, Carson Wentz for the Vikings. Both teams hoping they can deliver. And now live from Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, where the Patriots chase back-to-back wins for the first time in 3 years, while the Steelers look to rebound after last week's disappointing loss. And live from Everbank Stadium in Jacksonville, where the winless Texans faced a must-win to save their season, and the Jaguars seek to end a 7-year home losing streak against their division rivals. And also live from Nissan Stadium in Nashville, where Indiana Jones and the Colts look to stay perfect against the Titans and rookie passer Cam Ward, who is still searching for his first NFL win.
Today is sponsored by Jeep. There's only one. From the